I don't believe that I do not believe that America's labor aristocracy or the Western world's labor aristocracy in general is going to create environments that are ripe for revolution. We do not even have the mechanism of collective bargaining in our workplaces, let alone any kind of class consciousness. We don't even have class consciousness. It's just not going to happen here. Unless things change. But I'm never going to fucking sit here and say that, like, America wouldn't be instantly better if it was more similar in economic organization to a country like Norway. Of course it would be. And hundreds of millions of lives would be immediately improved. Not only that, but actually billions of lives would be improved if we had a similar attitude to military intervention in comparison to the European social democracies. Now, are European social democracies beneficiaries of American imperialism? Absolutely. Okay? Stop saying, dude, say Norway rip, suck my dick. I'm talking about nationalizing extraction industries, you fucking donkey. Soy, Venezuela did it and it was so socialist, soy. But if I fucking mention Norway, then it's not all of a sudden that's not real. It's so stupid. China is so good. China is so communist. It's such a good transitional socialist state, actually. Like, shut up, stupid. I give props when props are fucking due. When China does it, I give it props. When Norway did it, I gave it props. Anyway, the point is, European social democracies are nowhere near as aggressive as the United States of America is as the primary imperialist superpower. If America was, less aggressive, less interested, obviously this is a literal dream. Like, it would never happen because, as we know, capitalism necessitates imperialism. Imperialism is the highest state of capitalism. Just saying, like, in a magic fucking universe, if it wasn't as aggressive or as damaging or as awful or as violent or as bloodthirsty, said that, I don't know. The world would unironically be a better place. Could we get there through reforms? No. I don't think that'll ever happen. Let's continue.
California is an island. Not literally, of course, but
let's talk about why my state is absolutely fucking dog shit. This is by Wendover Productions. More like I'm bending over to the fucking Californian authorities on a daily fucking basis as they milk me dry of my tax dollars, which I have no problem fucking giving them. But I do hope that I get something in fucking return, and that's not, a new armored personnel carrier for the Los Angeles Police Department, but instead to fix the fucking potholes. Instead, to make sure that there's adequate housing availabilities for people who are getting priced out of the housing market. But of course, that is magic la la land. Why would that ever happen? Fix the fucking roads, man. Pay teachers more. All you're getting is climate collapse and armed right-wing militias headed up by Orange County Nazi grandparents. I hate that.
Geography and history has subjected the state to the same pressures and influences that make actual islands so insular. Towering mountains separate the bulk of the state from its neighbors, but America's largest desert places hundreds of miles of harsh, sparsely populated landscape between it and the more populated states farther east. Conversely, the largest, richest, and most influential cities in California all sit on the coast: San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. This is no coincidence. Granted statehood in 1850, California began its interaction with the rest of the nation by ocean. It did not border any other state. The next nearest was Texas. The interior was considered hostile, dangerous wilderness, but also just fundamentally lacked roads, so steamships would leave from the East Coast, snake through the Caribbean, and drop off passengers in Panama. There, travelers would cross the country by foot and horse and boat to get to Panama City, where they'd wait for another steamship to bring them to California. At best a 30 or 40-day trip, but incredibly, the fastest way to get from one half of America to the other. This disconnect meant California initially operated more like a colony, especially considering that until telegraph lines spanned the country a decade later, this weeks-long trip was also the fastest way to get information from coast to coast. It wasn't until the Transcontinental Railroad was completed in 1869 that the state was truly, reliably connected to the rest of the country by land, giving California 2 foundational decades to define its identity in isolation. This legacy persists. The disconnect exhibits in small ways that stack up into a meaningful sum. For example, most of the rest of the country is linked by a network.
Honestly, if you go live anywhere in the world, where'd you go live, or would you say? Tokyo. Easy.
Of oil pipelines, allowing for cheap and efficient transport of the resource.
Also, not really though, because I don't speak Japanese and it's really fucking annoying.
From well to refinery to pump. California is different. With those towering mountains and desolate deserts separating it from the east, the economics never worked out to extend a pipeline to the state. Therefore, California largely buys crude oil from foreign countries, imports it on enormous tanker ships, and refines it locally, which, in addition to the state's strict environmental regulations, explains the higher prices typically seen at their pumps. California even has a small degree of disconnect to the rest of the American road network. It's the only state that requires all travelers to pass through any sort of border formality.
Is Tokyo really that much better than Amsterdam? Yes. Tokyo is Amsterdam with more character. Significantly more character in the way that I like it. I love Amsterdam. I think Amsterdam is beautiful. Better than Vienna? I love Vienna. Vienna, another beautiful city. One of the best, in my opinion. But yeah, Tokyo, yes. But 0% the weed legality? Bitch, I don't give a fuck. I don't smoke weed.
When driving in. It's not immigration per se, rather an agricultural inspection to check for invasive species, but the point is not that these checks themselves significantly separate the state from the rest. More so, the fact that California is able to isolate and protect itself from pests prevalent in the rest of the country with any degree of success demonstrates just how naturally disconnected it is. The only state to have a similarly extensive agricultural inspection system is Hawaii, made up of literal islands. But the reason California can be so isolated is because it's really, absurdly, filthy rich. The state's center, if defined by wealth concentration, is here, Silicon Valley. It'd be easy to assume the area's riches are overstated, but the numbers offer a quick counterpoint. Santa Clara, San Mateo, and San Francisco, the 3 counties that encompass the core of Silicon Valley, have a collective GDP of 700.
I love when people say, hell yeah, Bay Area represent. My friend, that is the reason why you can't live there. You know what I mean? Like that. Like those guys are taking most of the profits.
And $25 billion. This is closest to that of Poland, the 21st largest nation in the world, home to 38 million people.
Common Polish L.
The uninitiated might assume that San Francisco and Silicon Valley are more or less one.
Literally 3 counties worth of revenue, dude. That's crazy. Not even the whole state. 3 counties worth. Kurwa.
One and the same. Sure, San Francisco has a big tech scene, but the major headquarters are distributed across the towns and cities to the south of it. Google is in Mountain View, Apple is in Cupertino, Netflix is in Los Gatos. What this means is that these titans of tech, some of the largest companies in the world, are headquartered in some rather small cities, 82,000, 60,000, and 34,000 residents respectively. Therefore, they're regulated by tiny, hyper-competitive local governments. In fact, San Francisco, the city you know best, is not even the largest city in the San Francisco Bay Area. San Jose has 983,000 residents to San Francisco's 815,000 because the entire area is just subdivided into a huge number of smaller cities and towns, which is a bit of a trend. Los Angeles County, encompassing most, but not even all of the metro area, is composed of 88 different cities plus unincorporated areas. Across both of the states.
Yeah, one major problem with California or even LA County is that it's just so big. Like, it is so insanely vast. And the 88 cities that they're referencing are like kind of far from each other. Like, it's just built like shit, really. That's it. I don't know how else to describe it. It is built like fucking dog shit. Does that make sense?
Largest urbanized masses, what functions like one city operates as dozens, even hundreds, leaving few comprehensive, overarching bodies to align incentives. Zoomed in, considering the odd relationship and power dynamics of neighboring communities, or zoomed out, considering the state's historical and contemporary isolation, California.
Texas is like that too. There are like 7 cities with over 100K people just in Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah. You know what? That's not even wrong. They urban sprawled because they could, but no one ever stopped to ask if they should. Well, it's one of the issues with like modern developments. You know what I mean? Especially in a place like America. If you go back, I can't believe I'm saying this and people will probably fucking yell at me, but if you go back to city planning at a time when like during monarchies, they're literally better. The only reason why you have cities like London or you have cities in Europe is because the Romans built them. Okay? I'm not even kidding. Like a lot of the development built back then that people basically used the skeletons of and built on top of, were able to build we're able to basically build city planning in a way that certainly still reflected class positions, right? And that wasn't great, but it was still, it was a building that you could inevitably turn into housing for as many people as possible, as they did in places like in places like London, out of necessity. Whereas, in America, we fucking build shit because we can, and we build shit in a way that like in a way that best suits the interests of like suburbanite white people, that puts them in proximity, like as further proximity as possible to black people. Really fucking ugly, gross, cookie cutter. It's partially true after World War II, all those European cities that were bombed to shit changed the doctrine of American ways of car infrastructure and parking, like The Hague, but reversed it. And now it's not a hellscape. We urban planned around cars early on, and now there are too many cars on the road. 100%. 100%. Oh. Small countries are forced to value their land different and densify. USA has plenty of land to sprawl and no government planning to prioritize good land use.
Is as unique a state there is. Unique
because European cities were built without cars. That's what I'm saying. They didn't design their shit around cars and instead built it around the fact that most people would be walking. America was founded so much later, and we took cars into consideration. I have a master's degree in planning. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said there is. No, I agree with you 100%. You are 100% correct. And even in places where we did build cities for walkability in mind, we literally fucking ripped them apart so we could basically long dick the entire town with cars. and infrastructure built around, or roads built around, vehicles. I agree with you. You're absolutely correct. All the wards in Houston and then the highways separating the suburbs. Yeah. I mean, listen, I saw this meme on fucking Twitter, which I thought was really sick, because it's like odd to see how easily someone identifies a problem. But it was like one of those like mega highways or whatever in Texas where there's like 11 fucking, what do they call it? It like looks like, not a spade. It was I think it was Texas. It was the Cat Freeway? I don't know. It's like a spaghetti freeway basically. And someone was saying, it might have been fake actually. But no, it's not the one more lame bro meme. No. Someone was saying the black neighborhood that was definitely under this must have been fire. Okay? And it's such a perfect way to describe exactly the problem. I don't even know if the clover was like real or whatever, but wait, is this it? No, this isn't it. No. It was like a clover. Yes, that's the word. It so perfectly fucking describes in such few words exactly how and what purpose these kinds of interstate highways were created for. I wonder if anyone can find it. Not like the actual version of it. Same geographical size. A highway interchange in Houston. Yeah, this was the image. And underneath it, someone was like, the black neighborhood underneath this must have been fire. Or must have been lit. God damn, dude. What is it? Is this fucking Florida, dude? Is this fake? Fake. Sometimes it feels like Florida literally feels like this. I'm not even kidding. If you've ever been in like Miami-Dade, and moved beyond Miami-Dade to like, Coral Gables, you literally have seen something that unironically looks like this. It feels like this. Obviously, it's not real. This is AI art, but it just feels like this. I swear to God. AI that's Houston, I grew up there. What do you mean, dude? This is like impossible. I mean, a lot of places in America feel like this. It's by design. It's just dog shit. I mean, look at this. This is real. This is real. This is a real highway interchange in Houston. I get how people say stuff is ugly, but it really impresses me when I go through them. Like, humanity is able to make stuff like this is so monumental, and people just go through it, everyday genius. No, I love infrastructure. Okay, when Marat was like, "Bro, let's go to the fucking mountains, do some off-roading." One of the things I loved was not like necessarily the trees or anything like that, but the water purification centers, and also those fat ass fucking beams that they put on top of mountains so we can, feed energy into Los Angeles County. I think that shit's fire. Okay? I love that. This, on the other hand, is gross. I love energy. I hate car-based infrastructure. Okay?
Uniqueness has brought benefits, but uniqueness has also created unique problems and bizarre, sometimes convoluted means of solving them. Take homelessness. This is a hot button, highly visible issue with complicated causes and largely theoretical solutions, so it's easy for conversations over it to spiral out of scale. A quick look at the statistics, however, makes one thing unmistakably clear. California's homelessness problem is uniquely bad. Of the 582,462 people experiencing homelessness nationwide in 2022, 171,521 were in California. That's nearly 30% of the nation's total, or for comparison, some 97,000 more than New York and some 150,000 more than Florida, the states with the second and third largest homeless populations. But California is the most populous state in the nation, so this should be considered at a per resident rate. And here too, California outpaces the rest with 44 people experiencing homelessness per 10,000. More troubling still,
Look at all those fucking blue states, by the way. Just saying.
With 44 people experiencing homelessness per 10,000. More troubling still, despite the highest total and the highest rate, the problem's only getting worse.
Yeah, look, dude, why do you think Hawaii or New York has such high rates of homelessness? Please. I can't speak for Vermont. I can speak for Oregon. I can speak for Hawaii. I can speak for New York. I can speak for California. Okay? Well, one, because they don't fucking melt them or put them in buses. Well, California used to literally put them in fucking planes and I think send them to Hawaii back when it wasn't blue, back when it was red. But part of the reason is because, no, it's not welfare programs, man. It's because rent's too damn high. That's it. That's the whole point. The fuck do you mean? Hawaii. What do you think is going on in Hawaii? Why is there so many fucking homeless people in Hawaii? At least in Hawaii, it makes kind of sense. Because it's like, you know, Hawaii kind of makes sense because there's limited amount of land. Texas buses ungodly amounts of homeless. Yeah, look at this. Median rent. Hawaii, D.C., California, Maryland, New Jersey. Part of the reason why New Jersey is so high, but it's not as bad with homelessness, I think, is because I assume there's like so much mass availability. New Jersey is fucking slammed. It's dense. I grew up in Hawaii. I remember when California was buying homeless people one-way tickets to Hawaii. Yeah. Hasan implying that mainly USA has infinite land. Bitch, in comparison to Hawaii, it does. What do you mean? The United States of America, if it had the same like building density of fucking, what is it, New York? If New York's same density, like New York City, same density existed in the state of Texas, we could put like the entire planet in the state of Texas. Like literally. We could put the entire planet and house it inside of the state of Texas if it had the same density of New York City. The entire planet. Okay? Can't believe I'm using a fucking Matt Iglesias take there, but it's true. I'm just trying to help you understand how fucking insanely vast, how much land we have, how much land mass we have. Vermont rates of homelessness are almost the worst in the country. Vermont shelters 98% of its homelessness, highest rate in the country. That's crazy. The state's housing crisis is the top agenda in Montpelier, and self-evident to most renters, employers, and first-time homebuyers, to say nothing nearly the 3,000 Vermonters currently sheltering in motels thanks to the pandemic. Vermont is the second highest per capita homelessness in the country, behind only California. Based on a nationwide tally, 43.1 out of every 10,000 Vermonters are unhoused. But Vermont is the lowest. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Well, this makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense as to why you see homelessness way more in certain places and not in others, I guess. Holy shit, Hasanabi is right. Texas could fit 7 billion people with the population density of New York City. Bitch, I'm always right. Sometimes even when I'm using wrong people who are wrong all the time and the one right take that they have. I 100% guarantee you their high rate is just because they're good at counting them all, because they shelter them all. It's probably not that high. Bernie Sanders not trying to help the homeless. Sob emoji. This guy's a fake socialist. Marxist turning in his grave. We should make all the homeless take a mandatory Forex trading course to make them generate enough income to afford rent. It's not hard to afford rent. These people have a money-making problem. I have a PhD, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the funniest gray name I've ever encountered. Just nutted feels nice. Karl Marx Sussy Baka. He said www.fortnite.com. Do you think the building structures of California is the think stopping me from picking up women? Wait, what? I wouldn't want poor people living near me. I think the current housing situation in California is kind of nice. Walking is for nerds. I like my nice big American car. This is okay. Now I know this motherfucker's not from California. Yeah, this person is funny as fuck. Good shit. Yeah, you did get noticed because you're funny. Unlike all the motherfuckers in the chat that are unbearable all the fucking time. Okay, you were actually funny. Don't encourage them. No, I am encouraging them. Because they're not like they're not trying to be funny by being like racist or whatever. They're like actually funny. Karl Marx Sussy Baka. Okay.
People experiencing homelessness per 10,000. More troubling still, despite the highest total and the highest rate, the problem's only getting worse. From 2020 to 2022, while 23 states saw decreases in their homeless populations, California's rose by another 6%, 10,000 people. So it's a big, bad, and worsening problem, and while it's at the top of meeting agendas from small city halls all the way to Sacramento, it doesn't look like it'll be fixed anytime soon. While no state has figured out how to solve homelessness, it is generally understood that providing stable shelters and housing programs is associated with lowering numbers. It tracks then that California has comparatively little in the way of shelter beds, as the state has instead opted to prioritize permanent housing projects, which have proved expensive and incredibly slow to build.
That's insane. Oh, come on, dude. Like, no, it's because they're stopping this dead in its fucking tracks. What? Yeah. In California, the real problem with homelessness is that we don't have shelters, and instead we want to give homeless people homes. That's what we want to do. Meanwhile, I like Wendover Productions, but I think this is a massive miss. Here's why. On top of everything else, well, one, a lot of these housing projects, or a lot of the money that people put aside for potentially building new housing, specifically for low income housing, there is, fuck, what was I going to say? Aside from all the money that they cast aside for housing development that they never actually end up using, real estate developers and homeowners are incredibly powerful in this fucking neoliberal shithole, okay? And on top of that, fuck it, I'm forgetting everything I was going to say. Jesus Christ, my brain is shutting off. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Built. This has left more and more out in the relative cold. In 2022, 2/3 of California's homeless were considered unsheltered, living out of tents, cars, campers, or on the streets, far from shelters and services that could potentially turn things around. Now, the state government has watched this problem grow and spread and tried to think of solutions while throwing millions upon millions of dollars at it. Yet, the state has the largest, most visible homeless problem in the nation and has little in the way of solutions or even stopgaps in place to alleviate the issue. Much of this is the function of a simple reality that the state government has suppressed.
Fuck, before I forget, Jesus Christ. Duh. California has vacant homes. There are so many vacant plots and vacant homes. Just go on fucking Zillow and literally look at how many $3 million plus fucking empty lots currently exist. It's insane. Okay? There are so many fucking vacant homes in this goddamn, so many vacant apartments in this goddamn fucking state. It's mind-boggling to me. And before every stupid fucking nerd says like, "Oh my God, what? What do you mean? You mean to tell me that real estate developers want to fucking develop housing and like keep it empty? That's so dumb. They're just seeking profits. Why wouldn't they want to fill those fucking homes? They can't. They can't. Okay? They can't at the price points that they're currently trying to, at the price points that they're currently trying to fucking sell them off at or rent them out at. Okay? So ultimately, given the way that our tax structure works, go buy another $3 million mansion before the homeless this time. Okay, shut up. Listen to me. Listen. The way that our tax structure works in the United States of America, it actually benefits real estate developers to keep some of these homes fucking empty as depreciating assets so they can use it as a tax write-off. That's it. That's the whole point. It completely, every fucking YIMBY, which, some people will call me one too because I am in favor of more development, but every fucking person that, and I've seen those tweets where people are like, you mean to tell me that real estate developers don't want to fucking fill their empty homes? Like, that's so stupid. They want to make profits. No, brother. They can use it as a fucking depreciating asset, write off their losses, and literally end up making more money as the value of the fucking property or even the lot itself appreciates. Instead of renting out all of their units, or instead of making sure that all the assets that they own are worked in some way, it's rented out, or people are able to fucking live inside of them. They can just sit there and be like, well, this is a depreciating asset. This is, this is a loss for me. As they wait, as the value of the home rises until they can sell it, as the value of the apartments rises and they can sell it. Property values always go up. And during that process, the government has made it so easy for them to sit there and eat the cost because they can basically turn that loss into a tax benefit. There's no other avenue where you can do this. There's no other avenue where you can do this in, you can't do that in your regular W-2 job. You know what I mean? Put a fucking vacancy tax on that shit that is more costly than the tax benefits that you might actually get from it, and let's see how empty those houses stay. Okay?
Surprisingly little control over. It's really hard to build in California. The difficulty in finding housing extends to everyone here. The state is in the middle of a housing crisis. But this isn't because of a faltering economy or meager wages. California, year in, year out, ranks as one of the highest average income states in the nation.
It goes over just taxing empty homes and commercial real estate transactions too. San Francisco has passed taxes for this, but due to existing laws, the ability for those funds to actually be allocated to their intended destination, affordable and social housing, is largely up to more conservative mayors and not actually what the people want or voted for. That is the other side of what I was talking about, which is that there is so much money in this fucking stupid state. So much. What do we have, like an $80 billion surplus? I think it was like 50 by like more conservative estimates. I don't know. Okay. And we constantly are like, oh, well, here, let's add a new tax. Okay. Let's add up, $5 million mansion purchase tax. I voted for that. You know what I mean? Here, we'll develop a fund with that extra, 10% taxes through the sale and purchase of a, $5 million plus property. We'll be able to develop some social housing. And it's like, it never works that way. We don't actually ever end up, spending that money. Concepts like Project Room Key, which are supposed to take empty fucking vacant hotels and shit and turn them into permanent housing for homeless people, are profoundly successful housing first, housing first anti-homeless policies that every single part of the Chamber of Commerce universally disagrees with.
And yet, in one analysis of 2019 numbers, once adjusted for cost of living, it plummets to 48th. Rather than unemployment or low-paying,
I want to run this back, sorry.
The state has surprisingly little control over. It's really hard to build in California. The difficulty in finding housing extends to everyone here. The state is in the middle of a housing crisis. But this isn't because of a faltering economy or meager wages. California, year in, year out, ranks as one of the highest average income states in the nation, and yet, in one analysis of 2019 numbers, once adjusted for cost of living, it plummets to 48th. Rather than unemployment or low-paying jobs, it's the sky-high cost of living that puts so many so perilously close to losing a home. All it could take is one medical emergency. Bizarrely, the explanation could be that the state's economy is too strong for its own good. Take this simple metric, the jobs housing ratio, which considers how many jobs are created in relation to how many units of housing are added to a given area. For local employment to remain healthy without adding to congestion, traffic, or displacing longtime residents, the US EPA considers a ratio ranging from 0.75 to 1.5 as healthy for an urban area. In the last decade, popular cities clearly on the rise have begun to push the upper reaches of this range. Phoenix's metro area sits at 1.34, Seattle's 1.43, Austin's 1.47, and Denver's 1.73, but California has blown the roof off this range. The LA Long Beach Anaheim metro topped 2, Riverside San Bernardino Ontario has reached 2.72, and the San Jose Sunnyvale Santa Clara ratio of new jobs per unit of housing hit a truly staggering 3.19. Of course, an unrelenting economy only accounts for the numerator here, the jobs. The denominator is just as responsible for the state's housing crisis, but this is the outcome of a concept a bit more nebulous: the California dream. Of all the floating, intangible assumptions as to what life in California is supposed to look like, the long sunny days and pleasant temperatures, along with a plethora of good jobs, beaches, and open space, it's the single-family home.
Solving the conflict between decommodifying homes and still financially incentivizing building new developments for low-income households, a bitch not gonna lie. Is it? Because literally what you're talking about, this part doesn't need to really exist all that much if it's handled by the state. Because this part, building new developments for low-income households, would quite literally work to do this, decommodifying homes. You're just basically not looking at it from the perspective outside of capitalism. That's it. Housing should not be seen as a commodity. It should be seen as a need, because it is a need. Without a house, without shelter, you fucking die. I did not see the new shootings in Denver. That's the issue. We can absolutely, and we must absolutely decommodify housing. And the best way to do that is state intervention. And places where there are less glaringly obvious issues, like homelessness, as it is in California, where it's like unimaginably bad, they have done that. We have the ability to literally fix all that. It's just that we don't have the willpower. This goes for every single issue we are trying to solve within capitalism. Yeah. Terrible.
With a lawn and perhaps a pool that's proved the most important, the most concrete, and currently the most controversial. And it's this core tenet that's causing such massive problems. Californians, after all, desperately want to keep what they were sold on, and they're willing to fight for it.
No, I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like the fucking American dream. No, I think the American dream was a way to package home ownership for Americans, which then very quickly turned into the American dream of like making money off of real estate. Like every single tax incentive or every single benefit given to fucking home buyers has been bastardized by people that maintain and purchase housing not as for personal need, as shelter, but for profit-seeking measures, for renting and developing specifically so they can make more money off of it. Just like student loans, sure, exactly. Every single amenity that the United States government offers to the American people inevitably gets bastardized as a money-making operation, even if the intentions originally are honest. It's so stupid. AB 309, the Social Housing Act is in committee. Alex Lee is looking for votes, but the Chamber of Commerce is a bitch. New York had a great idea to get rid of the homelessness. Accept pain, no pain, top of the... Bro, this literally doesn't make sense even. Like, at least make it make sense, chatter. God damn it. I had such a good segue coming for this top of the hour ad break too. You fucked me. You fucked me. You fucking rolled me. You fucked me. It's messed up. What you did is messed up. It's Dadaist. Anyway, yeah, people are giving a 9 out of 11 on this top of the hour ad break. I see. Anyway, here's the 3-minute ad break. Now, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free. Or you can get gifted a sub. Here's the 3-minute ad break. You know, Reagan started the loan tuition system also because there was a hotbed of communist and anti-war activity propping up on college campuses in California. Do you think that making it illegal to own more than a personal home and outlawing landlords completely would help solve the issue in our current state? First of all, that would never happen. So it is such an unimaginable thing that, yeah, like I said, I can't even imagine a world that would happen. No shot. You would literally have a fascist, like homeowners association revolution in this country. Not a revolution, but like a rebellion, a counter revolution. You kidding me? Remember the McCloskeys, like the fucking wife and husband, the lawyers with the AR-15s? Like every suburb would look like that. Filled to the brim with like the McCloskey style suburban counter-revolutionaries armed to the fucking gills. Every convo about Cali is always the bottom half. No one cares about the top half. What do you mean? I mean, you mean like everything from the top half all the way up until the 1% is what you're talking about, I suspect. And in that regard, you're right. Oh, you mean just like the fucking Southern California and not the top of California, like Northern California. If you're saying that, then that's stupid because we are literally talking about NorCal when we talk about housing and homelessness.
Atherton, a small Silicon Valley town just minutes away from Stanford. In 2022,
this video literally heavily focuses on NorCal.
To keep up with state mandates on housing requirements, the city council began the process of rezoning one single-family lot to build an apartment building. The project was quickly axed. It wasn't a lack of money.
Wait, what happened?
Away from Stanford. In 2022, to keep up with state mandates on housing requirements, the city council began the process of rezoning one single-family lot to build an apartment building. The project was quickly axed. It wasn't a lack of money or a lack of municipal will. It was axed because the city's most influential, powerful executives and even basketball player Steph Curry banded together and pressured the city out of it.
What?
To them, the project would hurt their property values, cut off their views, change the character of the community, and create more traffic. So the project and its 16 units of desperately needed housing died on the vine and forced city planners back to the drawing.
LeBron would never do that. LeBron would build an
might not be
apartment.
as high profile.
LeBron would literally build low-income housing with his bare hands, dude. Straight up. I said it. LeBron better. It's true. You know it's true. You fucking know it's true, dude. You know it's true.
As those in Atherton, this happens all the time, all over the state. Here, the city government decided to designate itself as a...
I didn't hear any lies in that statement. What, like about apartment complexes like lowering the character of the community? It's fucking bullshit. And before everyone... Oh, yeah, hell yeah. By the way, before anyone says like, Hasan, you live in a fucking single family home or whatever. Yeah, bitch, I do. And guess what? I have no issue with fucking apartments all around me, okay? Suck my dick. West Hollywood has mixed zoning. So there's plenty of fucking apartments, even though they are not relatively affordable. Let's be fucking real. So unless you tell me to knock my house down and like build an apartment complex and then... what do you call it? Fucking... become a landlord, shut the fuck up. Expensive mid-ass apartments. Oh, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. They're literally dog shit like 1935 developments that they haven't improved at all because they can get away with it. It's so nasty with it. And yes, you have to pay fucking at least like $2,000 plus to live in a goddamn studio that hasn't been improved since 1937. In my city, it's more units means more traffic. There's no fucking traffic in the city except for like the 4th of July. But that's how they stop every development.
Mountain lion sanctuary, which was odd, but conveniently allowed it to forego new housing development. Here, in 2019, construction on a 154-bed shelter broke ground only for Venice Beach to sue the city of Los Angeles to halt construction. Here, residents of San Francisco's Embarcadero area did the same, suing...
By the way, this is what okay, this part is true and very real. And yes, Wendover Productions is absolutely nailing it here. This is literally it. This is the main reason, okay? That's it. He's right. I'm glad that he got to this part. It's like we have vacant homes that we could be utilizing, sure, but that's only part of the problem because where are the vacant homes? How expensive are the vacant homes? How are you gonna utilize the vacant homes? These are all policy problems. Except on top of that issue, they literally don't even want you to build shelters, which is not even a fucking solution. It's a Band-Aid. And they don't even want you to build any apartments in general, which again is so stupid. And it's because wealthy people literally get together, band together, and like lose their fucking shit. They stop every kind of development dead in its goddamn tracks. So even if there's actual money that you could be spending, even if in a longer timeline, less homeless people in the street would be more beneficial for your real estate prices, okay, or your overall quality of existence, which ironically is not even the first reason why you should want homeless people to not live on the fucking streets, by the way. But even if you're a goddamn freakazoid who cannot comprehend that this human that's like literally shitting on the side of the road is a human being, okay, who once had dreams and wasn't so fucking brain broken from a lack of shelter for many, many years and traumatized through existing in that regard, okay? Even if you don't want to think about all that shit, that's the best and most effective and most permanent solution to the homelessness crisis. It's literally beneficial. It is beneficial. These things are beneficial for the rich people who constantly fucking complain about homelessness, but they want the other permanent solution, a final solution. That's what they want. That's the whole, you know, that's what they would get if they had, you know, if they could get away with it.
The city over establishing a 200-bed shelter in the same neighborhood. And across the larger Bay Area, those who want California to stay the same low-density California of old have created their own organizations, councils, and committees. Better Cupertino and Palo Alto for Sensible Zoning, to name a few. This isn't just a fringe. More and more anti-density proponents are winning local elections. All of this is, after all, in the local interest. If one small town has enough power to push the problem over to the next, clearly a constituency will opt for that over something that could damage their property values. The state has the money and the interest in solving its problems with homelessness and housing shortages, but can only do so much when powerful local governments resist even the most minor of zoning changes, and these—
What is this, Doug? You should build a city with us?
My friend Parks.
City Skylines, but I elected Twitch chat as mayor. I fucking love this concept.
Down long term. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to our new mayor. They are.
Wait, did he actually? Is there like programming necessary to make this? Because if that's not the case, if I can like do it with ease, I would literally fucking do this. This seems awesome. Holy fuck. I'm gonna hit up Doug to see if we can do that. He made a program? God damn it. I don't know how to fucking programming. I just like playing a video game is already scary. I'm gonna hit him up. Fuck. Let me see. Is it Doug? Doug Food? Is that his username on Twitter? Is it? Okay, I followed him. Now we wait. I like this concept a lot. I would love to work with him on it.
Smallest of housing projects. So unexceptional problems have grown to exceptional size, and as the unexceptional solution of simply building more housing gets
Bro, collecting all of Ludwig's friends like loot? Wait, what? How? Is Doug friends with Ludwig? I feel like Ludwig just like steals from him.
rejected, the state
Fucking parasocial weirdo.
legislator turns to the spectacular, launching projects to systematically convert motels into housing units, backing anti-NIMBY laws, and filing lawsuits against its own cities. And all of this absurd mess is confined to the issue of housing. There are, of course, fires. There's also too much water in some places and too little in others. There's spats about who deserves Colorado River water at the state level and at the local level. There's traffic, there's aging infrastructure, there's companies leaving the state and middle-class workers following them. There's a lot of bickering.
This part is a lie. I'm sorry. That's not true. No, that's crazy. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Like every single thing that he brought up, like all of these issues are literally in every other state. Okay? But the one aspect of it where he's saying like, oh, companies are leaving the state and middle class people are following those companies, he's not right. He's right. I live here. It's nuts. Bitch, where do you think I live? So it's a lie, or you don't agree? No, it's just not true. This is a falsehood. The majority of people that are leaving California are not middle class people, but like at the lowest rung, upper middle class people. It's rich people that are leaving California. A lot of rich people that leave California leave because they want to go to a tax haven, or if the middle class are actually leaving, they're leaving as a consequence of not having. It's not even a lack of like job opportunities or anything. They're leaving because they don't have places to live. They're priced out, and they have nowhere to go. Meanwhile, there's still a shitload of people moving into California while that's happening.
And middle-class workers following them. There's a lot of bickering and a lot to bicker about. Clearly, problems have accumulated in California to an untenable level, and systematically, they aren't getting solved. Something seems fundamentally wrong with the state, so maybe it needs a fundamental solution. Maybe California should just be a country. It sounds ludicrous, right? Of course California can't become a country. It would never happen. Congress would never allow it. But perhaps the point worth focusing on is how much less ludicrous it sounds when considering the argument. After all, California wouldn't be out of place as a country. It would rank 59th in physical size between Iraq and Paraguay, 38th in population between Canada and Poland, and 5th in GDP between Germany and India, so it would actually be above average on all major metrics.
Just understand that real quick. California ranks 5th in GDP. So math ain't mathin', dude. It's like the same as the egg prices we were talking about. 700% profit, increase in profit. Prices are increasing. Wages are the same. Their initial investment is the same. What's going on there?
Metrics of scale. One of the common refrains against secession movements is that breakaway regions could not survive economically on their own. For example, according to the UK government, for every dollar Scotland pays in taxes, it receives about $1.32 back. The country would have an immediate and dramatic budget deficit upon full independence. This fact undergirds some of the strongest hesitancies among Scots themselves on the matter.
Shit.
But California is different. In 2019, before the pandemic skewed the data, the state received just 97 cents back in federal spending for every dollar it sent the federal government. This put the state, each year, in a small camp of around 10 that received less than what they gave, while others, like Mississippi, Kentucky, and West Virginia, consistently received more than $2 back for every dollar they sent. Of course, this is by design. The US's progressive tax system is supposed to take disproportionately from the wealthy and give disproportionately to the less wealthy, but from California's perspective, many wonder why they're sending all their dollars to unappreciative states thousands of miles away. And adding to that, California doesn't even get as much of a say in how those dollars get spent. Given the unequal distribution of electoral votes in presidential elections, every individual in Wyoming has the voting power of about 3.7 Californians, while the Senate system of 2 senators per state, regardless of population, further compounds this weak representation. Again, the system was purposely designed hundreds of years ago to amplify the voices of smaller states,
This
but
part
from
is true.
California's perspective, they get the short end of that stick. Feeling underrepresented by Washington, California has long legislated less like a state and more like a nation, passing sweeping, powerful laws when it feels like the federal government can't or won't. For example, it's long had a ban on assault rifles, similar to the one that the Biden administration is attempting to pass. It's announced a ban on gas-powered
You did
vehicles by
while driving?
2035, similar to other bans passed by countries. It's established its own immigration